for people that came late. Not you didn't come late, you were here. But then, you know, we had a great time.
We had a great time. But you will agree to the fact that, you know, Friday's Valentine's was actually low key, like generally.
It was low key.
Compared to what we used to have over the years.
For those of you wondering who I'm exchanging words with here, of course, Lady Mo is in the studio. We're going to be handling the Morning Express together, trends in the papers together, all the programs that we have lined up for you. I was talking about Valentine, how people had a great time, even those who came to the studio to pick up their meal tickets, courtesy Franny's restaurant, who we collaborated with, so we could give our listeners a wonderful Valentine celebration. I'm so happy because I saw videos, people who went there, they made videos, they had free meals. As long as you have your ticket with you, you can just eat what you want, courtesy Mainland and Franny's restaurant. It was really nice. We also have something with Motherland Kitchen, who's still giving out tickets throughout the month of February. So happy Valentine's in arrears, and don't just stop showing love, because February 14 is gone. Every day is a day to show love. Anyways, back to the primary affair of this morning. It's still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. I am Sage Babalula. I'm joined by Lady Mo, and soon our in-house analyst for outside will be joining us via the phone lines as we flip through the pages of our dailies. But as is our usual practice here on Mondays, before we get into the stories of today, we try to take your mind back to the stories that trended over the course of the weekend. I'll just read a few so we can take note of the time that we have afforded to us for trends in the papers. Now, the Guardian newspaper, over the course of the weekend, some of the headlines: Tinubu, Obasanjo governors Afenifere reflect on Pa Adebanjo's legacy. Of course, he died last week at the ripe age of, I believe, 96 years old. He lived well. He lived very well, and everyone has great things to say about him, about how he's also something of a nationalist. He cares about everyone regardless of tribe. As a matter of fact, he supported Peter Obi. But many people thought being the leader of Afenifere, you know, you're supporting someone from the east. And he says, well, it doesn't really matter. I might be a Yoruba person, but I am first Nigerian. And that was his mentality, and everybody had the same tune when they spoke about his character as a person. I hope his legacy continues to live on. Also, of course. Also, we have Tinubu on fairness, inclusion in political appointment. The Guardian told us further, price of domestic paddy rice to increase by 50% in 2025, according to Afex. I won't face unconstitutional trial, says Nnamdi Kanu. ATM charges, CBN gets 48-hour ultimatum to reverse unlawful hike. Facebook killer lover confesses to killing victim for money ritual. We also have police allegedly torture teenager to death in Ondo. The Punch told us further that President Tinubu celebrates El-Rufai at 65, hails his contributions to democracy. Local government crisis, Adeleke Osun APC trade words over destabilization plot. 18 killed in India festival train stampede. Kidnapped Catholic priest, 2 others freed after 4 days. Hoarded relief materials uncovered at Abuja IDP camp, federal government vows probe. No politician, with a conscience will join the APC, ex-Sokoto Governor Tambuwal. Miss Universe Nigeria, Additional's mother arrested in South Africa. Facebook murder, Ilorin Emir urges imams to preach against ritual killings. NNPCL, Dangote refinery trade words over alleged substandard fuel. Binance reps caution Nigerians as $150 million bribery allegation. USAID call for probe spread over alleged Boko Haram funding. Finally, in the Vanguard, Irish youth set police station ablaze in Ondo over boy's death. Labour Party will back Indigo for 2027 presidency, says Abure. Volume of stolen crude oil drops to 5,000 barrels per day, says NUPRC. World first openly gay imam Musin Hendricks shot dead in South Africa. Lagos serves 48-hour quit notice to illegal traders at Dumota Ibutiero. Okete Port, Anambra declares war on ritual killings, fraudulent spiritual practices, and proposed truck ban, fuel tankers owners to lose 300 billion naira, according to NATO. That is all the information we have for you as regards stories that trended over the course of the weekend. I think it's about time we bring on Fuad Said so we can proceed into the conversations of the day. But please remember that we are streaming the program live on Facebook and on YouTube, so do well to join our live stream. You can also listen via Radio Garden. A lot of you complained about it over the course of the weekend. I was trying to monitor that, spoke to the engineers, but our technical team have resolved that. But if you still have problems, please do well to notify us via WhatsApp or via the Facebook stream. But you can listen via Radio Garden at Mainland 98.3 FM. You can watch us live via Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. You can also listen via the website www.mainlandfm.com. So please try to reach out to us through these multiple channels. Geographical location has never been a barrier, so please take advantage of these many platforms. Fuad Tide is online now. Good morning to you, Fuad. How was your weekend?
Yeah, good morning, Sage. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I'm well, thank you very much. This is why you are greeting me first, Fuad. What is this about?
How are you doing, Lady Mo?
Doing very well, thank you. Good morning. I hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah, it was a beautiful one.
Even though.
It was nice to see the whole paparazzi in the office on Friday.
What?
Those that got anonymous keys.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
The para rounds. The para rounds.
Someone will not say something, you come and say it.
I've not said this. I just said some people got keys from some anonymous lover.
It was me.
I wanted to say that Fuad didn't mention any name.
It's fine. It was me. I don't know. See, anonymous, I don't know who you are, but I love you very much. I don't know. This person has done this twice. Sent me something without putting their name on the card. Just put your name on the card. You don't know. We could be married by next week.
My mind tells me a whole lot. I won't say.
What whole lot, please? Fuad, do you want us to use your radar?
I have a feeling I know these anonymous people.
No, you don't. No, tell me, Fuad. Tell me. You don't know. Maybe don't block me from my husband.
Did you share the cake with me?
And I shared with everybody at the office, to everybody that was around.
I didn't say anything, but it's fine. It was so nice,
See, anonymous,
all the people that have been listening to us every morning to give Valentine gift now they give.
And I used to think they don't really like me, to be honest. I used to think people don't like me, but you see, I got something anonymously. I don't know who you are, but just put your name on the next card and let there be bundles of money in the next one, please. Many thanks. Anyways,
but I know the person about.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know who it is. You don't know who it is.
How do you know?
You don't know. If you knew, you'd have told me.
You're not sure of that.
They will come, I'll tell you.
No, Allah. Many thanks. All right, well, let's get into stories for the day. Before we do that, of course, I think that we need to talk about some things that happened over the course of the weekend, some of which are still top stories, but we should open with it because these are human angle stories that I think we should raise our voices about. And I'm talking specifically about the unfortunate passing of this young girl, 24-year-old girl in Kwara State who had met a man online on Facebook. Right, and she went over there to visit him. She was missing. Her friends were worried. They contacted her parents, and her parents, called her number. Ultimately, they tracked her to the house of this cleric, so to speak. He first denied knowledge of her coming over to his place, and then upon searching his residence, they found dismembered parts in different buckets, and she had been hacked. Now, he claims that he didn't kill her, that she had asthma, and he had gone to get her food. Before he came back, she was gasping for breath, and the whole point of dismembering her was because he didn't know what to do with the body, and he had to dismember her. It was the first time. He had never done anything like this before. But her friends and her family saying she doesn't have asthma. In fact, the naming ceremony she was coming from, she helped them cook with wood. Anybody who has asthma will not put their face over burning wood or smoke. She participated in all the cooking activities and she was fine. She doesn't have asthma. They've never seen her with an inhaler. And so it's been a lot of call about the rise in femicide, and I'm not an alarmist, so to speak, but the figures are there. The amount of women that have been killed over the course of 3 months is very scary, both home and abroad. So far, just talk to us about this rising amount of killings of young girls that we're seeing, and some of the ways we need to protect ourselves moving forward as we interact with men, because you cannot run away from men regardless.
Well, it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. It's less than a month.
Yeah.
We're still talking about the guy in Abuja, the so-called gospel singer.
Right.
Remember?
Yes.
I don't think it's up to a month that happened. And now you have this situation, in the move. It's very, very unfortunate. Again, this desperation out there, to make money and get this get rich quick syndrome. You want to drive a big car, you want to build a big house, live a lavish lifestyle without working hard for it. And look, even when you work hard, it doesn't mean you're going to have all the luxuries of life. The blessings of God, it comes natural, and that's when it can endure. But, again, we're in an era where it's like, just get rich. Anyhow, anyway, just have money. That's when the society will respect you. That's even when the religious organizations will respect you. Have you not noticed that even in religious houses, they keep separate seats for people with money?
Wow.
You are allowed to sit in front. You are accorded a different respect. So we are in a society that worships money, that respects only money. And when we do that, we've abandoned the principles of hard work, dignity of labor, with that dignity that comes with working hard and labor. Somebody was even telling me recently that you have a group of youth now who even mock people that do 6 to 5. So when you a salary earner, they mock you. That you are stupid. Why would you be collecting salary? Meanwhile, when you are out of the house, working very hard, to get that your monthly pay, that they ridicule. They're at home, maybe pressing something, hoping to kill somebody for ritual. So it's part of the societal decay that we've been talking about. Saying now this is a so-called quote and unquote Islamic theory.
Right.
The other one said it was a gospel thinker. So you could see that. Look, we can aggregate and say that. Look, it's how bad our moral values have gone down the drain. And for look, it's not even about femicide now. Yes, I understand that. Look, we've had several cases of women, young girls being killed. But we've also seen men being killed too. At least I think it was last week that we reviewed the story of an Uber driver.
Yeah.
And was killed by people. Yeah, so that's also a man. So if you put all of these things together, it's frightening, it's scary to see how badly we've gone, down the drain with our moral values. And I must tell you that social media is not also helping matters. If you look at it very well, the negative effect of social media on this particular issue is there for us to see. We want to live in denial about it. But look at what we see, display of wealth on social media by the so-called celebrities. Look, and who is safe now, say? Who is safe? Are you going to tell young girls not to visit their boyfriends, not to date?
Because
things that happen normally without any fear.
Sorry to interject you. Even more concern is about those that are supposed to be in the forefront to preach against these things are the ones that we are even getting to see doing them. I went through the Facebook page of this so-called cleric, and I noticed that most of his posts are sermons. Sermons of several places where you have, imams and clerics preaching against different, of course, their wasi, they preach against this, preaching against that, and all of that. And you see, even these people are the one engaged in this. So how do we tackle this?
The thing is that trust nobody. That's just the message I got from this story again. This is a guy, I had to go through his page too. Born in a well-respected family. L쏘ᴅy, a family known for big clerics, Islamic clerics.
Right.
He's also, at least a very young boy. From the information we got, he's not even up to 30. So what kind of money is he looking for? You see, it was 29. But again, this get-rich-quick syndrome. Everybody just wants to make money. The feeling is that, look, if you don't have money, you are nobody in the society. Even the little job you do, people think it's all about money. You are looking for one contract somewhere. That's what you're doing. People just think that, look, it's just that everything has to be about money. So the guy, yes, you call him an Islamic cleric, you buy him as a pretender. He's who he is, irrespective of what he calls himself. As it is now, he's a murderer, he's a ritual killer. So even if he understands all the Arabic in the world, it doesn't still change the fact that, look, this is a pretender. And it's just what it is. So, as it thinks, I think for our young girls, I think they now have to be more circumspect, trust nobody, be careful who you visit, try as much as possible to share information with your family members and friends and relatives too. Let them know the person you are seeing, let them know the person you are dating. When you want to have a visit, you can't overgive out information about your movement and whereabouts. It's gotten to that. You want to book a hearing ride, try and share that information with somebody. Let them know your movement. And then we continue to pray. Prayer is also very important to save us from things like this, because it can only be prayer, really. Apart from the other efforts you make, I think prayer would also help.
Well, we just needed to open the program with that because it is a very important thing to talk about. Safety is paramount, especially at this time. Let's move on to more recent stories that we have reported on the front pages of our daily, and we are opening up with the power sector. The Guardian newspaper this morning reports, despite 7.2 trillion naira subsidy, power sector inefficiencies take toll on consumers. The riders, future generations to inherit $5.7 billion World Bank AFDB loans, other 2.3 trillion naira debts. Stakeholders view fate of consumers on abating losses. 160 grid collapses since 2013 cost Genco's 229.6 billion. I could go on ahead to read the body of the story, but thanks to the Guardian newspaper, they've helped made our job easier, and there's some
with the riders.
yes, with the riders. So let me tell you what the Guardian newspaper has brought to the fore. They're talking about the fact that in terms of subsidy, from 2015 to 2025, we have spent 7.2 trillion naira in subsidies for 11 years. Now, currently, this is the debts that the power sector owes. 2.3 trillion naira in debts to the CBN, $1.95 billion owed to banks, World Bank, $1.7 billion. Power sector recovery and transmission upgrades. That's what we allegedly took these loans for, or apparently. The AFDB, $2.1 billion. Energy transmission and transmission expansion. That's what we took that loan for. Now, the tariff breakdown, as you know, we're currently paying 208 naira per kilowatt hour. So this is the tariff breakdown for that 208 naira that you're paying. Gas supply. Every Nigerian is paying 50 naira per kilowatt hour. For generation, we're paying 70 naira per kilowatt hour. For transmission, we're paying 11 naira per kilowatt hour. For distribution, we're paying 77 naira per kilowatt hour. Hence the 208 kilowatt per hour that we're paying as tariff for electricity. Now, the grid has collapsed 160 times in 11 years. And I can go on and tell you the DISCO's average yearly subsidy, but I think that the riders and this infographic already speaks to the many problems that bedevil the power sector. For as electricity consumers, this is the amount of money that we're paying, 208 kilowatts per naira per kilowatt hour, and yet there's no commensurate quality of service. And if we're owing this much and we're paying 7.2 trillion naira in subsidy, this is over 11 years. It begs the question, what aspect of the electricity value chain have all of these monies gone into, and why can we not see a physical representation of these monies?
Very simple, Sage. Very, very simple. Corruption, vested interest. I know we've always talked about the dangers that comes with politicians, political leaders, encouraging their cronies in the business world. You know, buying government assets, taking up government contracts, getting licenses to run businesses on behalf of people in government. In the entire power sector value chain, that is what you have. Anybody can take me on that. From generation to transmission and distribution, in that entire power sector value chain, a deeper search into it, a deeper research into it, shows that you always have elements and indices of what you call vested interest. You know, people who quietly position themselves, who are friends of our leaders and politicians, who have hijacked the entire power sector value chain. They are there. We see them. Some of them we celebrate. We call them successful businessmen and women. Some of them, you know, we have their information. And so the question of, what exactly are we subsidizing? It's so simple to understand, because in a situation where you have vested interest as we have it, this is what you will always get. You know, because again, they did a little breakdown, said, can you indulge me and come again with that breakdown of what we pay in 208 naira?
Well, the breakdown for the 208 naira per kilowatt hour, that's, hold on a second, please, I'm very sorry. Yeah. We currently pay gas supply 50 naira per kilowatt hour for gas supply. For generation, 70 naira per kilowatt hour. For transmission, 11 naira per kilowatt hour. And for distribution, 77 naira per kilowatt hour.
Okay, now that cost-effective tariff, that's the explanation that, look, yes, that's supposed to be the cost. So, apart from the people on band A, the assumption is that every other person on a band, other than band A, that is paying less than 208 kilowatts per hour is being subsidized by government. That's the explanation thing. Very simple explanation. So what it means is that just those few Nigerians, about 10 or 12% of Nigerians who are band A, are the ones who are supposedly paying the cost-reflective tariff. So the explanation from government is that for every other person who is on band B, C, D, or band 0, as you may want to explain it, they are not paying what they are supposed to pay, what is called the cost-reflective tariff. So government is still subsidizing. The question is, how did you arrive at those calculations? 50, 70 naira, 80 naira, 25 naira, that has amounted to 208. How did we arrive at that calculation? You know, for us to now say, okay, 208 kilowatts per hour is the cost-effective tariff. Then this is the other question. Say, instead of talking about cost-effective tariff, can we also be talking about a service-effective tariff? Then, how do we have a complete data of all Nigerians who are connected to the national grid as power users? So if you take away the band A people, the subsidy that we calculate now, how did we arrive at it? Because again, you have a breakdown. There are people who are band B, band C. So what is the total number of power consumers in Nigeria who are connected to the national grid? So by the time you aggregate all of these things, it's almost like the clumsiness, the chaos, the corruption that we created in the oil sector. We've also created it again in the power sector. And so you continue to see these justifications, you know, these permutations will come, they throw this data around just to confuse you. And at the end of the day, the so-called band A people who are paying through their nose now, who are in serious pain with this so-called 208 kilowatts per hour that they cause for the first party, they don't even get the so-called 20 hours they are supposed to get. Band B, God knows how many hours they get in a day. I don't even know the band I am now in my house. Because as it is, I think the best I get is about 6 to 7 hours of power in a day. I'm sure the people that they've taken their transformers away, who are still connected to the national grid, said, but who don't have power for months now, they are also being calculated as part of the subsidy.
Yeah.
You say so it's all clumsy and it's deliberate. And this is as a result of the vested interest. The guys who have been positioned to hold the different segments of the power value chain for their cronies in the political class. And until we get a society where we pull the hands of people away from these things, we are going nowhere. It's just what it is. We know these things, but we are always pretending not to say it. Even denial about it. When a license comes out, everybody run around. The people in the political class position their own people. Their friends and colleagues are the ones that hijack the license. And then when it comes to performance, we see what you are saying now.
Thank you very much, Fuad. Please, Lady Mo.
All right, of course, in case you are just tuning, it is Focus, Trenton the Papers, I beg your pardon, on Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM. And don't forget, you can definitely join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. Of course, our website also is very much accessible, www.mainlandfm.com. And you can also listen via Radio Garden at Mainland 98.3 FM. So join us, and definitely would really love to have conversation with you this morning. All right, Fuad, I don't know if you are, exhausted about this NLC electricity telecom tariff hike and, NFC's insistence to, still go ahead with the March 1 protest and boycotting services and all of that. Of course, we have that as an headline, the bigger headline in the Punch newspaper, that the federal government deploys security agents as NLC insists on protest. Of course, the security agencies are saying that the protests might be hijacked by, of course, protest is lawful, but we all know the outcome and fallout of protest over the years and all of that. And of course, the security agencies are trying to avoid this to happen again. And even subscribers are opposing the labor move. But NLC is, insisting that no, this tariff hike. And people are also talking about, misplaced priority of NLC. We have electricity hike, and you're not focusing on that. You're just focusing on telecommunication, telecom site and all of that. So what's your take on that?
Well, I don't know why the NLC wants to go on any protest. It doesn't make any sense to me anyway, because it won't resolve anything, won't change anything. Because again, they've gone on some protests in the past, and nothing really came out of those protests. again that, look, because of the telecoms hike, which is probably one of the most justifiable hikes we've seen in recent times, based on the hikes we've seen in the past, which, of course, has shot up their own operational costs. It will be difficult for me to begin to make any meaning or sense from this planned protest from the Nigerian Labour Congress. But again, it's within their rights. Any organization or group that feels like protesting, so far it remains peaceful and they don't disturb other people who will not be protesting with them, it's always within their rights. Or if it's about achieving anything with the protest, my mind tells me that it's going to be another wasted effort. It's unnecessary, it's not needed. The clear indices to which why these telecoms operators need to increase their tariff has been clearly stated, and I've not seen any superior argument from the Nigerian Labour Congress on why these guys should not increase their tariff. Again, I'm not a stakeholder. It's not as if we are speaking for the telecoms operators. Yes, there might be questions around efficiency and service delivery, but look, it will just be sheer hypocrisy if we assume that the telecoms operators are immune to all of the realities we have on ground. Now, everything has gone up, and they also operate here in Nigeria. Some of the operations are dollar denominated. Some of them have the dollar factor in it. They import equipment, they import some of the things too. Operational costs in terms of power, running of diesel generators, and all of that are there for us to see. So, if the Labour guys want to go on a protest, they should go. As a Nigerian, I'm not interested. I know there are Nigerians who will also not be interested. At the end of the day, after the protest, we'll see what to come out of it. But they should not try to disturb other Nigerians who are sincerely talking about nation building and are not just hypocritical about it. I see a lot of hypocrisy in the things the Nigerian Labour Congress is doing on this telecom matter.
All right.
Many thanks, Fuad. Since we're talking about inefficiencies within sector, the NNPCL, they had quite an issue over the course of the weekend. A social media influencer decided to carry out some sort of experiment where he had claimed to have bought a PMS from the NNPC and one from MRS. He tested both on small generators. He claims that 17 minutes is all he took for the PMS gotten from NNPC to burn, and the one he got from MRS, it took about 30 minutes. Now he's claiming that Dangote refinery is of better quality than PMS from the NNPC. Now, Billy Harris, that's the head of Petron, has put out a statement that is very untrue, that even some of the PMS that is being sold at NNPC is also gotten from the Dangote refinery. A comment that many people think also is him shooting himself in the leg, because you claim that all the other national refineries are working, and then you're openly admitting, in order to defend the quality of your PMS, that you got the bulk from Dangote refinery. Now, aside from that, experts have also spoken about the quality of the refineries in comparison to each other. I'm going to play you a soundbite for it. Cᴏᴜᴜ is an energy expert, and he had an interview on Arise Television talking about the petrol gotten from the different refineries and the content, what makes up this petrol and how they burn. So I'll just let you hear from the horse's mouth. We'll play this, and then we come back and we analyze this comparison.
Because when you consider the fact, for example, that a lot of the petrol imported into Nigeria are mid-grade petrol, Afri-1 petrol, with sulfur levels that are over 750, some of them are over 1,000 ppm. And when you burn them, the ash content is usually very black. You don't get white smoke, which is what you're supposed to get if you're bringing in petrol with very high octane rating and a proper right vapor pressure, RVP, and a proper sulfur level. And the sulfur level, as stated by sections 317 of the subsections 11 of the PI, is supposed to be 50 ppm. When that convention was passed, when that law was passed, the communique was issued by ECOWAS in 2020, February 2020, they agreed on 50, NMDPI revised it to 200 and put an allowable limit of December 31, 2024. Since this year started, NMDPI has now advised on a new allowable limit, which means that it's back to 50 ppm. So if you consider the fact that since October 1, 2024 till date, I'll tell you that we've seen anywhere around 4.5 billion liters of PMS imported into Nigeria.
Well, you heard from Kelvin Emmanuel, an energy expert on Arise Television, talking about the sulfur content of the PMS being imported into the country. And when you burn it, it's black when compared to the product that comes out of Dangote Refinery. Fouad, please let's listen to Lady Mo read out the counter statement that was put out by the NNPC, and then we can have you analyze, please.
Also, NNPCL strongly refuting the false and misleading allegation, says it is important to emphasize that a significant percentage of premium motor spirits sold at NNPC retail stations in Lagos, where this deceptive video was created, is sourced from the Dangote Refinery, a strategic partner in promoting local production and energy security. Dangote Refinery adheres to strict industry standards, guaranteeing the quality of premium products supplied to our consumers, they declared.
The official statement, actually, NNPC refused misleading claims in viral video. Now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited strongly refutes the false and misleading allegations made in a viral video circulating online, which claims that NNPC fuel does not last. This assertion is baseless and entirely unfounded, originating from unverified and amateur research that lacks credibility, accuracy, and professional oversight. NNPC Limited reaffirms that its fuel is carefully formulated with one of the best compositions, ensuring optimal efficiency, durability, and environmental sustainability for consumers. Furthermore, it is important to emphasize that a significant percentage of premium motor spirits sold at NNPC retail station in Lagos, where this deceptive video was created, is sourced from Dangote Refinery, a strategic partner in promoting local production and energy security. Dangote Refinery adheres to strict industry standard, guaranteeing the quality of petrol products supplied to its customers. This misleading video represents yet another desperate attempt by economic saboteurs to misinform the public and tarnish NNPC Limited's reputation. We will not tolerate deliberate misinformation designed to undermine our operations and mislead Nigerians. Henceforth, NNPC Limited will take firm legal actions against individuals or groups who intentionally spread falsehood about our brand and operations. Those engaged in such malicious activity will be held fully accountable under the law. We urge the public to disregard such fabricated content and rely on verified sources for accurate information. NNPC Limited remains steadfast in its mission to ensure fuel availability, affordability, and quality for all Nigerians while maintaining global industry standard. Olufemi Oshoneye, Chief Corporate Communication Officer, NNPC Limited, Abuja, and this is dated the 15th February 2025. Fouad, I think all of this statement or all of these sessions already asks the most important questions. Let's hear your perspective on all of this drama.
This is a press release. What you've just read, say, a press release from Mr. Femi Shone, who is the Chief Corporate Communications Officer for the NNPCL. And basically was responding to a product review by a Nigerian who had just decided to do a product review. And then look at what you have in that press release. Number one, I see shamelessness in that press review. Number two, I see arrogance, unnecessary arrogance in that press release. Number three, I'm seeing what they call self-deceit in that press release. And then number four, I'm seeing unprofessionalism. Lack of professionalism in that press. I'm going to break it down for you, see. Because that's the official response of the NNPC. I'm not going to bother with Petron or the other guys who are making statements. Number one, if a guy has done a product review, his own model of reviewing the product is to use two better parts by my neighbor generator, right?
Yeah.
And he bought them brand new according to him. And so what he did was to show us that, look, he went to MRS, bought Dangote fuel, went to NNPCL filling station. I'm showing the mind of the reviewer. At least NNPCL filling station to have NNPC fuel.
Yeah.
How would they have known that Dangote is still put there for your filling station? So when the guy went there, this is NNPCL, Dangote had told us officially he has a sales partnership with MRS. So he went to MRS, bought that one, and then went to Jodu and then bought from NNPCL. Even the so-called beggar, we have two NNPCL filling stations, just overlooking each other there in beggar. So the guy did his own review and discovered that that of Dangote lasted longer than that of NNPC. What is supposed to be the reference to review? There are people who have said that, oh, the carburetors of the generator could have been the reason why there was that disparity. Some said that, look, what he needed to do, the model, there are people who have even questioned the model. Not even the NFPs who have thought that, look, for a better result should have been done in a different way. I would have expected that NNPCL would have come out to say, oh, you've done your review, but if you want to get a better result into your comparison, this is the way to do it. This is the professional way to attend to it. Remember when NNPCL, through the NDPRE, accused Dangote of high sulfur content in his product? See, the same NNPCL that is threatening everybody, we will continue to question them. They should bring their lawyers. That's nonsensical threat in that press release. It's not for Nigerians like us. Because we have a right to question what they have done to us. The same people that are threatening Nigerians brought in bad fuel into this country. What did they do about it? The same Mr. Fᴜဃᴜ was not at the NNPC when bad fuel that damaged people's cars and vehicles were brought into this country. Did they even arrest anybody? Was there any consequence? So the people that have the history of bringing a bad fuel, bad product into the country is the one threatening Nigerians now for reviewing their product. What insolence? The people, somebody that has a history, an organization that has a history of deceit and lies, that was brought in dirty fuel into this country without any consequences. If you want threatening another Nigerian, who has just done his own civic duty of trying to compare products. And when they accused Dangote of bad fuel in the past, say, what did Dangote do? Did he threaten them?
No, he says, where's your laboratory?
He brought in people. He brought in House of West members and he told them, buy my fuel on the road as you are coming. And took them into his laboratory and showed them the testing. His own testing laboratory to show the quality of his fuel. And he now challenged the NNPCL, if you remember, say,
yes.
show us your own laboratory where you are testing for your product. Have they shown us any laboratory? Say, since that time, as the NNPCL, through the NNDPRE, have they taken us to any laboratory in Nigeria where they are testing the quality of their own product?
No.
Oh, so we don't even know where the NNPCL products are now. We don't even know where they are sourcing their products. Just last month, they said they were the largest importers of petroleum products into the country. The same NNPCL told us that Port Harcourt refinery is working. Warri is working. Where are the products from Port Harcourt and Warri? And they should tell us the laboratory where they are testing their products. So they are even still getting products from Dangote refinery as we speak. So you can see that, that's why I told you that, no, you see, again, when you have people who have lived and enjoyed impunity without consequences, this is what you get. A guy has done a product review. What's the big deal about a product review? If you're going to respond, it's a deceit, it's deliberate misinformation. Was the guy hiding his identity when he did the product review?
No.
So what's the deliberate misinformation? If you think there was a misinformation, inform the people properly. Look, in public relations 101, basic public relations, if you think there's falsehood, how do you counter falsehood? You counter falsehood with truth, not with threats. In basic public relations, if you think that there's a misinformation somewhere, if you think that there's a propaganda against you, the easiest and the most professional way to counter falsehood is to counter it with truth. Can the NNPCL show us the products they are bringing in, the ones that belongs to them, whether through importation or from Port Harcourt or Warri refinery, and take us to the laboratory to show us sample of their products and the quality of their products compared to that of Dangote, instead of issuing threats.
Thank you, Fuad. Lady Mo, please.
All right, just quickly, let's take a trip to Osun State to also talk about, the unrest there. Speaking of the local government crisis, the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on Sunday had called on President Bola Tinubu to give warning to the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Jᴏɪᴜ against unleashing mayhem in the state, starting from today. And he spoke at a conference in Osogbo on Sunday, and he accused Oyetola of orchestrating a plan to enforce the verdict of the Court of Appeal, Akure Division, on February 10, which allowed the appeal filed by the local government chairman elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress in the October 15, 2022 election, restating the local government chairman. And even the NLC also, Osun State Council had rolled out, a statement that they will, at the moment, suspend activities in Osun State just for the safety of their workers and all of that. And the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Jᴏɪᴜ, also talking about that these chairmen were illegally, sacked in 2022 and all of that. what do you make of, the crisis really, Osun State, and moving forward, how to be resolved?
Well, I just hope that our politicians will not set this country on fire. The desperation, and we know that all this desperation is not even about nation building. We all know. Because if it's about nation building, from at least this Fourth Republic, 25 years down the line, what have we benefited from the so-called democracy?
All right, Fuad, just quickly, we have a soundbite for that as well, to get more insight to that. Just quickly before you go ahead with your analysis.
All right. We have it on good authority that Mr. Jᴏɪᴜ has instructed the Osun State Commissioner of Police, the State Director of DSS, and the State Commander of Civil Defense Corps to mobilize security operatives from within Osun State, effect the non-existing judgment by forcefully taking over the local government on Monday. Mr. Oitola and the police boss have been holding a series of meetings on how to effect the illegal operations. We affirm that Mr. Jᴏɪᴜ has no constitutional authority to issue directive to the security agencies. The fact that Mr. Oitola is nephew of Mr. President does not confer any such authority on him. We see this as a gross betrayal of trust posed in the Osun State security officers.
All right, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, that the NLC had issued a statement, asking workers in Osun State not to resume from today, for their safety, really. Go ahead, Fuad.
Again, I hope that our politicians have learned some lessons. Even though the way they behave does not show that there's any lessons learned. I've always said it, Sage, I'll repeat it so that you understand where I'm coming from. There was a reason why the Fourth Republic failed. And those reasons are well documented in different history books. What led to the failure of the Fourth Republic? There are also reasons why the Second Republic failed. And the Third Republic, we are now in the Fourth Republic, and I can see that our politicians have not learned any lesson. They are still playing kalu-kalu with this democracy. The democracy that people fought very hard for, lost their lives for, were tear gas. But you could see that, look, 25 years down the line, you have our politicians who are still as desperate as ever. They are not ready to play by the books. They just want to do any. It's the same thing across all political parties anyway. But this is a very different and very delicate case. And we're talking about Osun State now. This Osun State, again, is bringing to mind the situation we have in Kano State that is not yet completely resolved, that has created two areas. And then you have these allegations and counter-allegations of federal might, controlling the police against the state government who is supposed to be the chief executive of the state. The same scenario is playing out in Rivers State. It is still not yet reversed. We now want to start that again in Osun State. What exactly are we trying to achieve, for God's sake? This is a court judgment that can still be appealed. And look, if you look at it, I've always told you again, with court judgments in Nigeria now, you have different interpretations. Has there been another local elections conducted? Is it that our politicians just want to set this country on fire because of their own self-interest? You can see the governor of Osun State, who is alleging, that Mr. Jᴏɪᴜ, who is the Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, because he's the nephew of the president, he thinks he can order and give orders and give directives to the Commissioner of Police in the state because of his relationship with the president. So if it is true, I'm not saying it is true, because it's alleged. But if it is true, is that a democracy? Is that the kind of democracy we want to run? Like I said, I in my mind tells me, from everything we've seen in Kano, from what we are seeing in Rivers, from what's about to happen in Osun, if we are not careful, from even the brown we have in Lagos and other parts of the country, our politicians have not learned any lesson as to why the First, Second, and Third Republic failed when it comes to democratic experiment. And you have to be careful. Right. What is all this desperation about? Can't you just play by the rules and the books? So again, wait to see what will be the rest. Again, what we are saying is that, look, issues can be resolved in court. But for people to not, look, when we even run our democracy to the point where people cannot even trust court's judgment, people cannot even trust the police not to be partisan. That's where we are, Lady.
Yeah.
When a judgment comes from the court now, you have to check and recheck whether it has political undertone. When the police does their duty now, when it comes to political matters, you have to check and recheck again whether there's political undertone. It's unfortunate.
All right.
Well, we really need to wrap up the conversation. But before we leave, let's have a conversation around 2027. The Guardian is reporting that Tinubu gets more northern backing as LP spars over Igbo presidency. Region solidly behind president ahead of next polls, says Matawale. Northern group backs Tinubu's re-election, declares no vacancy in Aso Rock. Former LP treasurer Fault Abure opposes ethnic approach to Igbo presidency. Atiku appoint ex-Zulum aide as special assistant on youth engagement. Now, more northern voices at the weekend gave the all-clear to President Bola Tinubu, insisting that he has the region's full backing to hold the reins of power until 2031. The assurances came as some northern politicians, notably former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, recently cast doubt on Tinubu's 2027 electoral chances in the region. But the Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Mohammed Matawale, dismissed Babachir Lawal's recent remarks about President Bola Tinubu's prospects in the 2027 presidential election, asserting that the North remains solidly behind the president. All right, Fuad, Nasir El-Rufai had said that if the president continues on this trajectory with the policies he's enforcing, or these anti-North policies, so he says that the likelihood of him becoming president for the second term is very small, because the North will not support him. The North is upset with him. But we have other stakeholders who are saying that is not the truth. The North is solidly behind the president, and he will hold the reins of power till 2030. What are your thoughts about the fact that certain individuals feel like they have the authority to decide for an entire region?
I don't know where the authority is coming from. See, brilliant question. I don't know whether a Malanasi El-Rufai, for example, can decide for the entire North. I don't know where has gotten that influence. So now begin to speak for the entire region. And it's not the only person of influence in the North. See, it cannot be. El-Rufai cannot be the only person of influence. Matawale is also talking. I mean, so they are all there. Yes, I'm with you.
No, go ahead. You're just confirming what you're saying.
Yeah, no, it's not the only person of influence. All these things are not will not vote for you. The same, you know, you have, if you look at the number of groups that have been talking in the North now, those are political groups, all political jobs are looking for what to eat. So they keep coming, they register groups and issue statements and counter statements. At the end of the day, we are just being distracted by these statements. The real issue that we are supposed to focus on, we are not even focused on it, which is electoral reforms. Whether the North will vote for Tinubu or not, if truly we reform our electoral process, the next election for the president is supposed to be a referendum on his performance. But you think, say that Lady Mo, that we have an electoral process that can really confer a proper referendum on the performance of an elected official in Nigeria? Have we not seen the voting pattern, elections in recent times, that look, the performance of people in government does not necessarily mean that they will be voted out of power? Because we have a work electoral system. It is still Dibokosebe. We've monetized the entire process.
Thank you for
All right.
I mean, so if we have a Dibokosebe situation, can anybody say that one region will not vote for the other person? It's not be the person with the deepest pocket that can throw money around. So it may not eventually be a referendum on the performance of the president.
Fuad, we need to go, unfortunately. We're due for a break. We'll come back for Mainland Focus and broaden the discourse on this issue. It's still Mainland 98.3 FM. Please stick around. Mainland Focus is up next at 8:40 a.m.